Welcome to Collab365 conference, and especially to my session, Office 365, hybrid with 2 or more forests. All right, myself, Prabhat Nigam. I'm working for Gordon 5 Consulting. I'm a CTO, chief architect, blogger, speaker, author. I'm an ex-Microsoft PSS employee. I've worked for almost all IT giant companies, you can name it. My company website is gordon5consulting.com. My charity is LA Exchange User Group Foundation, Los Angeles Exchange User Group, where we do Exchange and Office 365 meetings and deliver technical sessions. If you live around Los Angeles, you are more than welcome to attend the meeting. Meeting takes place at Playa Vista Microsoft Office on every third Thursday of the month. All right. I write my blog at msexchangeguru.com. There are three LinkedIn groups which I manage: Microsoft Exchange Server, Microsoft Exchange 2013, and the first Microsoft Exchange Server 2016 group in LinkedIn. Then I manage and own Facebook group, Microsoft Exchange 2016. I run my Exchange channel, which is MS Exchange Guru. I also have my channel at channel 9, which is Prabhat Nigam MVP. I'm a Microsoft MVP from the last few years. And on the right side, you can find, right corner, you can find my contact details. And then there's my LinkedIn profile. Twitter ID is Prabhat Nigam XHG. Find my email address and the phone number. All right, let's move on to the next slide. Agenda. Today's agenda is introduction, readiness, single sign-on selection, AD Connect with 2 orgs, hybrid with 2 orgs, new Exchange configuration wizard, demo, and summary. So don't forget, we have demo. Don't sleep. Don't go away. Let's move on. Introduction. So you all know what is Office 365, right? So Office 365 is another data center which is managed and technically improvised by Microsoft. So where you don't have to keep your server, but if you want, you can keep, but you don't need to manage your server or any other server side stuff. You just have to do the help desk kind of thing, and most everything will be taken care of by Microsoft. All right. What is hybrid? Hybrid is a setup where you want to run your Exchange server and manage your attributes, which you can synchronize to Office 365, and also use Office 365 for different features like link, SharePoint, or even for the email gateway for the spam filtering. So if you're a small organization, you don't want to invest a lot on email gateway, you might like to go for hybrid and use the Exchange gateway, or you might like to use Microsoft Skype for Business, because that's also another big investment, and Microsoft Office provides it. So you wouldn't like to invest in your infrastructure, you might like to invest in Microsoft Link, where you might just not need Link for all the users, you might just need it for a few users. So there are various kind of hybrids, right? So which can be MultiForest, one forest where you just have you're just using hybrid for link, you're just using for SharePoint, you're just using it for mails. So there can be different kind of hybrid setups. Then what are the hybrid components? That's what matters. What you have to identify, or we have to identify, what matters to you when you are going to hybrid, which component you would like to deploy, and the considerable matter of time would be spent on these components and deciding what we are going to achieve with that. So if you want single sign-on, we have to decide that whether we want to go with federation, which can federate your accounts. You don't have to sync the passwords, but it's gonna federate and Federation will allow you to log in without syncing the password. And then you have to decide the AD synchronization, whether you want to do the, well, you would like to do the AD synchronization or not, how often you want to do that, from which forest you want to do that, all that stuff. Then we have to think about Exchange hybrid. So are we going to do the Exchange hybrid, or it's going to be just the link utilization? So there will be link users who will be using link from hybrid, or only the SharePoint. Then we have multi-factor authentication, MFA. Whether we want to utilize hybrids, free available multi-factor authentication for on-premise Exchange hybrid. That's another decision. Very good component, provide a lot of security to your environment using multi-factor authentication. All right, then gateway, the gateway for the mail flow. That's what many organizations using it. You might like to do it. Actually, Microsoft team is keep on developing and improving their gateway. Let's move on to the next slide. Readiness. So readiness is most important. It is like planning. If you don't plan for something, then you end up getting in rush, and that might not be the good stuff. You might spend more time later if you don't plan properly. So planning is the most important thing. The readiness is the most important thing, I would say. So where you have to plan what are the things we have to decide. That's what we're going to see. First thing, we would like to decide that what are our applications, what are applications we would like to deploy, right? So if you have Exchange requirement, if you have Skype for Business, SharePoint, Exchange Online, any other particular requirement which you would like to use in Office 365, we have to decide that first, and based on that everything runs below. So based on that, based on your application, just as an example, if you have to use ADFS and you have to configure ADFS port and nothing else from Office 365 as in hybrid, then you just need to open the ADFS ports. So you will go to the network ports, which is the second topic here. You'll go to network ports. There's a link I have mentioned, which is a Microsoft link, which keeps on updating the IP addresses there. So you have to keep on updating your IP addresses. So there are a lot of IP range, but it has mentioned for which service this IP belongs to. So you have to, if you use a particular application, you just need to open the IP ports for that particular application, that particular number of IPs, not for all if you don't want to. Then most of the IPs, most of the ports are 443 or port 80 or SMTP, the port 25, or SMTP secure port. So most of them are secure port, most of them are common port, like port 25. You always open it for everyone so that you can receive the email on port 25. But yeah, you can always restrict the IPs. So IPs are mentioned there. I understand the pain of convincing the change management, but yeah, this is Microsoft IPs, Microsoft own IPs, so it cannot be going bad. And we are not opening all the ports. That's most important thing. We are opening 443, port 80, port 25, and the secure port for SMTP. So most of them are secure port. All right. Then but there's a readiness check tool. So based on your application, your readiness check tool will not be relying on that which application you are choosing. So readiness check tool is a tool which you can download once you log in Exchange Online, Office 365. Then you can download this tool from the tools first link and run the tool on your Exchange server. It will tell you if network is okay, Exchange is okay, link is okay, user and groups are okay, or if there's any issue, it will report you back. It will also check your DNS for SPF, for MX record, for other URLs which are configured. It will check whether the ports are open or the DNS are registered. The DNS URL is registered for them, and it will give you the report in a nice way that this is not working, or this is failing, or this is passed. So you have a full report, and then you have to work on fixing those issues, right? So that's very useful too. Then we have ID fix tool. So ID fix tool examines the attributes which will be replicated to Office 365. If it finds an object which has an attribute which is not supported in Office 365, it will pop up the error. So you have to fix it before replicating that object to Office 365, else it will fail when you try to sync. And then we have to decide that whether the mail gateway, if we go for the mail flow, then we want to decide that whether the mail gateway has to be the on-premise or mail gateway should be Office 365. Or if you have any other mail gateway, you would like to decide that whether the mail gateway should receive and then forward to Office 365, and then Office 365 should forward to your on-premise. Right, so that's another decision which you have to decide before getting into the implementation phase. Then we have URLs, permissions, and there are other stuff, trainings, which we have to decide in the readiness. So other stuff can be the ports, other stuff can be the AD Connect, other stuff can be the location of AD Connect server. Because remember, AD Connect server should be only one, no matter how many number of forests you are going to use. Similarly, you might also like to decide that which Exchange server will be doing the Exchange migration, and you can definitely isolate some Exchange servers which will be doing the migration. All right, let's move on to the next slide. All right, so single sign-on decision is very important. That decides whether you want to go for active-to-active federation service or not, or you just want to do the AD password sync. So if you have the same password, even the user does not have the ADFS, user just need to log in with the same password, same ID, same password in Office 365, and he's good to go. Single sign-on is more convenience. Whether your company thinks that more convenience for the user is more important, then you might like to go for ADFS. All right, that's one more critical decision. So just wanted to highlight in only one slide that this is one more critical decision you have to decide. All right. Then we would like to discuss the AD Connect with 2 or more organizations. What are the options? We have 6 options there. Basically 5. Sixth one is the additional kind of a DR setup. So the options are 2 or more forests, single Azure AD directory, 2 or more forests with single Azure AD directory. So let's move on to the next slide, and we'll discuss more here. So 2 or more forest, single Azure AD directory. In this slide, I'm showing there are 3 forests which are connecting through one AAD server. So as I said before, we just need one AD Connect server, which is doing the AD sync from your forest to Azure AD. So this is very simple, basic, which is recommended. Simple design. One server, add any number of forests there, and you can synchronize all of them together from one AD Connect. Next slide. Next option is this one: 2 or more forest, multiple sync server to one Azure AD directory. This is not a supported configuration. At the same time, Microsoft never says that it does not work, because it works. I've seen customers where it works. At the same time, remember, it is not a supported configuration. Maybe it is working. Why it's not supported configuration? Because we have a risk of same object in two different forests, and they might replicate, and they might raise a conflict in Azure AD, which you wouldn't like to see there. If you have a conflict there, it will start failing few objects, so you don't want that. So it is not a recommended configuration, but I just wanted to highlight this is a configurable option which might work for you, but it is not a recommended or not a supported. All right, next option is two or more forests with separate topologies, but single Azure AD. So in this option, we have two or more forests which are separate entities, which means that they have separate email addresses, separate UPNs. So it means that no user will be created with the same email address, and the same UPN will not be used, so they will not be having a conflict. So they can run a separate AD sync in the environment. There are two so there are like two domain names merged to unified GAL in Azure AD. So that's the goal, that the Azure AD is a unified AD, but then they have the separate ADs. So that's another option to adopt, but it's not a preferred option. It still raise some complexities. All right. The next option is two or more forests full mesh with optional GAL sync. The full mesh is a new thing which we have been listening now. All right, in this option we have two-way trust between two forests, and on-premise identity management solution has been implemented, which is like MIM or FIM or any other third party which is synchronizing both the ADs. So one forest user will be created as contacts in the second forest. The contacts will not synchronize to Azure AD, so that's a goal. So that is taking care of the conflicts. So they have the MIM, so MIM synchronize them correctly, and then they have the Azure AD, one Azure AD again, and that is another part that only one Azure AD connect server is synchronizing Active Directory to Azure. All right, this is a very good option if you do the MIM and FIM synchronization. That ensures there is no conflict. That's another, I would say, recommended way to go ahead. But again, it's a single Azure AD server. All right, so next option is two or more forest with resource forest. So I would say there are account forests and the resource forests. So all the A's are account forest, all the R's are resource forest. And in this example, I could create only one R. But you can have more than one. There's no restriction. So in this design, in this expected design, it's not a recommended or anything, but you might find this kind of a configuration environment. So user should be identified using object SID and MS Exchange master account SID attribute. Then one or more account forest would be there. One or more resource forest can be there. Most complex is very complex, need correct attribute selection. So when you replicate using AD Connect, you have to select the right attributes is the most important. If you don't select it correct, you have the chances that you might synchronize some wrong accounts, right? All right, let's move on to the next slide. All right, so and this is the last, which is a disaster recovery option, I would say. Two or more forest staging server. So this is more like the first option, same as it's like same as the 2 or more forests with single Azure AD. Second, AD Connect server in the staging mode, which is a mode when you complete AD Connect towards the end, it gives you an option whether you want the server to be in the staging mode, or even after you complete, you can go back and change the server to be in the staging mode. So which means that you are creating all the connections, but you're still keeping that in the staging mode. The arrow which is towards down is saying that this is not being used for synchronizing to Azure AD until the DR happens and you change the staging mode to the synchronization mode. So what will happen in this, that the blue Azure AD Connect server will synchronize the data to Azure AD, but the purple one will only synchronize the AD from all the forests, but it will which means it will populate its metaverse database, but it will not forward to Azure AD. So that's kind of a DR. If your primary AD server goes off because of any reason, you can just quickly come to the staged AD server where you can run the AD Connect wizard, which will be quick, and quickly within a couple of minutes you will be able to start synchronization from this server to Azure AD, and you will be back. Your AD synchronization will be restored very quickly. All right, this is what I wanted to cover for AD Connect, to basically understand that when you have MultiForest, you have this challenge as well. All right, so you just don't miss this part, because this is one of the most important part of hybrid design. I've seen few great guys getting confused with the AD Connect, which is the right way to design. What should I do with MultiForest? So yeah, I know MultiForest always confuses a lot of things, so it's not straightforward. All right, topic of the session is basically the hybrid, which is the main session topic. Hybrid benefits and requirements. So you don't want to deploy on-premise link, SharePoint, or Exchange server, or other features, then you can leverage hybrid. So you have few things in your on-prem, you have few other things in your hybrid, which can be based on the cost of the licenses, hardware, and any other thing you can think about. You may not have the technical ability to deploy link or SharePoint. You just don't want to have a system admin for link, a system admin for SharePoint, or system admin for other features which hybrid is providing. So you might like to go for hybrid and use Microsoft deployed stuff. Makes sense. Good thing to do. All right. Next is why. Again, benefit requirement: unable to manage high availability. High availability is not that easy to deploy. The recommended way to keep up always 24/7. I mean, definitely the way world is changing, we want everything to be working 24/7. So definitely high availability for everyone is most important. And we all know, I mean, no matter what you do, your server may go down one day for some reason. So you want high availability. You cannot, the cost of managing 2 data centers for your server is more than enough, but then the exchange says that you need 3 data centers to be in the high availability, so that the third data center can manage the file share witness. You already have a lot. So in my view, you might like to go for the hybrid, and hybrid provides the best high availability. Microsoft has data centers in all different various geographical regions. I mean, look at my other session, which is on Office 365. I've explained more there, so I will not spend much time on this. So yeah, one of the most high available platform available today is Microsoft Office 365 Cloud. All right, next is to get multi-AD site HA. That's what I said. You can also have you can also use Azure and deploy some servers, not necessarily the hybrid, but you can also deploy that. All right, cost to run and manage in-house infrastructure is too high. All right, then hybrid to hard to upgrade for few new features. So you want some new features. It's not that easy. It's just we know that just recently Microsoft released Windows 2016 server. Wow, happy? Okay, 2016 server has come. You cannot just upgrade your Exchange server to Windows 2016 right away to leverage Windows 2016 features, right? So there are some features which are coming up. You might have heard in Ignite that there are some features which are coming up in Windows 2016 and Exchange 2016 together, but you cannot just upgrade right away. But this functionality provided by can be provided by Office 365 very fast. Probably they are already on Windows 2016. You never know. All right. Then email gateway provides email gateway, which has a separate team which keeps on updating itself, keep it up to the latest technology. So definitely don't forget, Microsoft is competing with the latest and the greatest. So to be the greatest, so that they have their own customers stay in their cloud and rely on their email gateway. Then RMS, archiving, all other benefits you get, multi-factor authentication. So why not hybrid? Otherwise you have to manage, deploy everything in your on-premise. All right, next slide. Okay, scrap down. Okay, hybrid prerequisites. That's most important. Create an Office 365 tenant first. Add and configure your domain to Office 365 tenant. Make sure you have third-party certificate on premise. You need public resolvable third-party certificates. Make sure a healthy Exchange has been deployed. So you have to ensure that your on-premise Exchange is healthy. Then configure and ensure directory synchronization configured and working. So which means that your AD synchronization, AD connect is working properly. Then ensure that you're running in a supported Exchange environment, which means the supported Exchange updates as of today are Exchange 2016, CO2 and CO3. CO3 has been recently released, I think on September 20th. Then Exchange 2013 cumulative update 13 or 14. Again, the 14 was released on September 20th. All right, then Exchange 2010 Service Pack 3 roll-up update 14 and 15, which was again released on September 20th. All right, let's move on to the next slide. Yay, hybrid configuration steps. That's what you were waiting for, right? So here you go. Readiness. The first thing is to ensure that readiness is up, everything is showing green. Then prepare Office 365 and DNS, public DNS as well. Then run on-ramp tool, which I was talking about, the readiness tool. Run that. And also run the on-premise health check tools, just not one, domain controller, DCDiag, replication, rep admins, and Exchange. There's Exchange BPA as well, the best practice analyzer, which used to be in the beta. I'm not sure whether Exchange team updated it yet, but it's there. Then run the ID fix and update anything which is faulty. Then ensure SSL certificate is a third party with all the required SAN, the subject alternate names in it. Remediate any issue which has come up. Then design the solution. This is one of the most important thing to understand, that you're going to use MRS proxy configuration, which is on the EWS, to migrate the mailboxes, and you will use SMTP for the mail flow. Microsoft recommends using the secure SMTP, so you should use secure SMTP servers. Then you will also use the CAS connectivity, so you should have the CAS servers, understanding that they will also be used to forward the CAS request to Exchange Hybrid until you change the pointer, which is not recommended until you migrate everything. So your CAS has to be on premise. Then open the ports. That's one of the most critical things. You have to engage change management, then you have to contact the network team. The network team will open the ports. Then configure ADFS for SSO. Optional, not recommended if you require. ADFS is free. There's no extra cost. You just need to have another server which can be virtualized. So why not? Configure MFA. ADFS comes with the MFA. So that also gives an option to deploy MFA, multi-factor authentication. Then configure AD Connect for directory synchronization. Then run hybrid configuration wizard. Update DNS. Wizard comes with a requirement to update the domain proofing text record creation. So that's why I said update DNS. Then validate Office 365 outbound connector. Once you finish the wizard, at the end of that, you have to do that. Otherwise, the mail flow might not work. The validation is a confirmation that your mail flow is working. Then last but not the least, configure calendar sharing and public folder redirection. All right. So I also wanted to highlight this in this slide, especially that hybrid enable versus modify difference. So your first time you're going to enable the hybrid, you will see enable, and then when you go to the same location and going to update it, you will see modify there. All right, this is one of the most important slide to understand how it works. It's going to show you step by step what happens when we run the hybrid configuration engine. So basically that process it is explaining. So first thing, when we connect, download the latest hybrid configuration engine. It's update. Then hybrid configuration engine read the desired state stored in the hybrid configuration on-premise Active Directory object. Then hybrid configuration engine connects to remote PowerShell to both on-premise and Exchange Online, Exchange Online Office 365 org. Then hybrid configuration engine discovers topology data and topology data and current configuration from on-premise Exchange organization and Exchange Online organization. So it detects that, and based on that, the current configuration, the fifth step, it does. So based on the desired state topology and current configuration across both on-premise and Exchange and online, hybrid configuration engine establish the difference, then execute configuration tasks to establish the desired state. So it's not a dumb engine which is gonna select anything and ask you so many repeated questions, but it's gonna discover it and automatically provide you the populated values. So you don't have to do it. It's very smart, new smart hybrid configuration wizard. We'll see in the demo. All right. So what are the hybrid migration options? The options are cutover migration. There's no additional server required, only cloud IDs, OST sync, all at once. Just have small number of users, do it in one night. That's it. Bye bye. Staged. In the stage, you do the directory synchronization is required, but there's no Exchange, but the OST sync is required, and it's a batch approach. Then most popular and highly used is the hybrid configuration. You're secure, big organization, big or small. I would say hybrid is the most secure. Otherwise, cutover is the best. Just do the cutover, you're done. Directory synchronization, identity management will synchronize the directory. And then hybrid configuration, OAuth, MS proxy will be used to migrate. Then OAuth for authentication. Then auto profile updates, will be done. Batch approach will be the batch approach. Then offboarding, then rich coexistence is possible, which means that you can live forever in the coexistence. It's more safer. You can come back very fast. You're not happy, you have missed some features. Oh, you had migrated secretary of the CEO by mistake. Oh my god. Now all the delegation is broken, so move her back, add the delegations back. You're good. It's not that we cannot migrate back. It's cut over, done. It's not like that. All right, let's move on to the next slide. All right, multi-org hybrid. This is the most important decision of today. All right, so this is what we this is the main topic of today. So what do you have to consider in multi-org hybrid deployment? This is what I'm going to explain in this slide. Is the first important thing is multi-org hybrid is the mail gateway. So which forest would like to forward the emails to each other, or you want the emails to go to Office 365 and then route it directly to the different forest. You can have multiple connectors and it can route it as well. All right, then forest trust requirement. Do we need a forest trust for reasons? Then single sign-on requirement, then ADFS requirement, then ADFS URLs requirement, and that has to be updated to the certificate. Then AD connect placement. You want to be in forest A, forest B, forest C. Decision is required. That's planning again. AD connect DR server. Where do you want to keep the AD connect DR server, or you may want it or not want it. Then gal sync between the forests. Then I mean, that means the gals. Do we want the gal sync between the forest? If we want, then do we need the MIM, FIM, which server we need, and then MIM server's placement for sure. Then hybrid wizard input. Then SMTP servers, which SMTP servers will be used, and do we want the same SMTP servers to send and receive to Office 365, or you want separate ones? Then which servers will run the MRS proxy for mailbox migration? Then calendar sharing between the forests are in place. Hopefully it's always in place, because they're already multi-forest orgs, and then they add the hybrid. So that has to be considered, or that has to be configured properly. All right, multi-forest, multi-org hybrid deployment steps. I would not say simple, but yeah, it's easy. Nothing is tough. Prepare. First step, prepare. Update all Exchange orgs to latest update n-1, or the n is the current. Ensure auto-discover is configured and working. Decide new URLs like ADFS or any other changes in the URL or SMTP URL. Then add new SANs to the current certificate, or you have to buy the new certificate. Decide and buy. That's the preparation. Build two-way forest trust between both the forests. Then next is configure on-premise mail flow in case of sharing SMTP domains. That's one of the most important thing. But if you are not sharing SMTP domain, the only reason, why you would like to build a forest, why you would like to configure the on-premise mail flow is, if you have the forest trust, then there's a possibility that forest A will not send the emails to your external mail gateway. Rather, it will send an email to your Exchange server directly. That's a possibility. So you might just like to have a send connector if you have, or you might still build it before even coming to hybrid. So, but that's a point to consider. That's why I'm explaining it. I'm explaining it. All right. Configure ADFS in all orgs so that they can use the federation. Then configure DIRSync, MIM, FIM between the organization, which might be already there. Then configure AD Connect server, which will synchronize on-prem to Office 365 directories. Only one AD Connect server required. So in the fifth step, hybrid wizard, prepare and configure Office 365 for every email domain. Run the hybrid wizard in all Exchange forests. Validate Mailflow, CAS connectivity, MRS proxy for every organizations. All right. Next is organizational relationship between all the orgs, which I hope already present. Exchange, which requires Exchange federation configuration, organizational relationship, and sharing policy. You want to share whole calendar or just little details whether I'm available or not. Whole calendar means it'll be able to see what is attached and everything with the calendar. Next slide is multi-org hybrid thumb rules. Every organization, every Exchange org need one authoritative SMTP namespace for mail routing, else mail routing will not work properly from Exchange from Office 365. Shared email domains should have auto discover and mail routing working. Exchange Online or Office 365 will not cover that. FreeBusy needs to be configured between all orgs by configuring organizational relationship. That is the manual process between the forests has to be done. Different public certificate for TLS negotiation is required. You cannot use one certificate in two different orgs. Then hybrid can work with one tenant only. It cannot be configured to connect to two Office 365 tenants. Then AD Connect can sync one directory to two tenants. That's a capability. Then email address policy should assign different alias or conflicted objects should be fixed manually. Else both alias can get the same target address. As an example, that you have Prabhat in both the ADs, and then you have to update it to different alias. It cannot be Prabhat at in both the places. It can be Prabhat or it can be P Nigam in second organization. Else the domain name, the Microsoft target address is the same for the hybrid for the tenant, so it's gonna take the same. So next is what should I do in case of two forests splits to two tenants? That's most important to understand how it's gonna work. Prepare both tenants, make them ready. Configure AD Connect for separate tenants. It can work with both separate tenants. So you can set up the AD Connect that will synchronize separate AD separate, or you just need to synchronize from different AD connects. Use two AD connects to synchronize. Simple. Configure one org hybrid. So now configure one org hybrid to tenant 1, and then migrate the mailboxes to Office 365. Once you are done with all the mailbox migration of that one tenant, then reconfigure hybrid to move to the second tenant and migrate all the mailboxes. You cannot live hybrid in the hybrid mode with two tenants. So basically, in this kind of a desire, the goal can be achieved by running one forest connected to one tenant and another forest connected to another tenant. But then your users from one tenant will move, one forest will be moved to one tenant, and the second forest users will be moved to the second tenant. But second tenant can connect to the second forest hybrid, and the first forest can connect to the first forest hybrid. So that way you can split the users, but then there's no way you can run hybrid connected to two tenants. All right, next slide is telling us the MultiForest hybrid issues. So there, all right, so next slide is MultiForest hybrid other issues. This is explaining one of the biggest issues in Exchange 2010. If you have so Exchange 2010 get FreeBSD issue because there's no default domain in the properties of Exchange 2010. The solution is to remove the shared domain name from on-premise Federation Trust, and that issue will go away. The other issue is there are 3 organizations and has 1 org with hybrid. So basically what happens is non-hybrid org user can't see the FreeBSD information of Office 365 migrated user. So this organization migrated the user to Office 365. The non-hybrid user cannot see that, and the issue is the target address has not replicated to other forest. So in that case, the solution is the mim morpheme sync should be there, and the target address will be updated, which will take care of the FreeBSD issue, because the target address has to be updated. It cannot forward and it cannot work. The FreeBSD will break. So that's the only solution. Okay, next slide is walking through the process of the configuration wizard. So the first thing you have to do is log in to Office 365 and download and run the wizard. Then you will see this welcome screen. When you go to next, then it automatically will detect which Exchange server is available with the latest cumulative update, latest version. So hybrid configuration wizard will check local AD for list of Exchange servers and versions. Configuration will be run from the so it'll here you can select which server can run the configuration. It'll give you the option. It will select automatically the latest version, latest updated version, and you can also specify below that which server if you want. Then first hybrid configuration wizard search if local server is running the latest Exchange version. Second hybrid configuration wizard search if a server in the same AD is running the latest Exchange version. Then third, Exchange server search cross AD side to connect the random server running latest version. But it select the latest version. That's most important. So but if you don't want that to be used, then you can configure a manual server in the specify server, and then you can also specify where is your tenant, China, Germany, or it's worldwide, or a dedicated one. So this is the new part. This is the last part is new. It used to be China and worldwide. So now it's changed to 4 options now. All right, let's move on to the next slide. In the next slide, you provide the credential. It verifies all has to be green, succeeded. Then next slide is the federation will be built. So you have to you will select whether you want to enable it. This will build the FreeBSD federation, automatically configure it. You don't have to think about it. You have to provide the hybrid domains. There's something to remember is hybrid configuration wizard show the list of domains that are accepted in both on-premise and Office 365. This is where we choose our shared domain. This option will come for the first time only. That's the most important. Then domain ownership. Then the domain. This picture is showing that proofing screen where it is sharing you the token ID, the text. So you have to create a TXT record which will confirm the domain ownership. So this is we now copy just the string needed, no extra garbage. That's it, and then create a TXT record and move on to the next slide. The next slide shows the unsupported version. It will show you so it showed me that this is the other unsupported version because that has non-supported CU. So you have to be on the supported CU version. Then it comes the mail flow. Then it comes the mail flow where you have to select whether you just want to deliver to the client access or mailbox server in Exchange 2013 and only the mailbox server in Exchange 2016, or configure you have edge transport where you want to receive the email. These are the only two options. All right, choose anyone, move on. Then select the receive connector, which connector will receive the email. Basically the server, you'll select which server, and then send connector configuration. You will select the server down below in the next wizard and next screen, and you will select next, and then it will be the transport certificate, which certificate you would like to use for this wizard. It will show the number of all the valid certificates there, which you can use, and you have to select from there. SMTP service will be assigned to this. Certificate has to be installed properly on Exchange. It does not support self-signed certificate, so sorry about self-signed, and it flew away. So next is the namespace for on-premise incoming SMTP. So enter the fully qualified domain name for on-premise SMTP. This will be configured for outbound mail connector. So that has to be this is for the Exchange SMTP mail flow. That's going to be that should be validated with the certificate. So that has to match with your third-party certificate for SMTP. Then it will run the hybrid configuration wizard, and in a few minutes it will show you the congratulations screen. I had some board issue in my lab, so that's why I got this warning. But overall, everything was fine. It ran fine. You got a congratulations. That matters. All right. Then next is the demo. All right, this is my lab. So you have to log into your ECP and come here and click on the hybrid. Click on the modify. And when you click on the modify, you see this screen. Information, login. Click on the sign on Office 365, and you will see this screen where you will sign in to Office 365. Once you sign into Office 365, you will see this screen, which will say click here to download starting the wizard. Once you click on it, then you will see launching application. The next screen will come this one where you have to click run. Once you click on run, it will open this wizard. All right. Once you have this wizard, click next on it. You can see it's detecting my server. It's running the PowerShell. It's gonna very quickly tell me that this server is good to run the hybrid wizard. All right, it has selected itself. We're good. This is the this is Exchange 2013 C12 standard. Then these are the options. We are going with the worldwide. Click on next. Then provide the authentications. All right. Okay, it will be done green in few seconds, and we'll move on. Okay, click next. Options is there. You can see all the option is there. I'm just going to use the client access and mailbox server. Moving on, receive connector. I have the servers selected automatically. I will go with this server to receive it. The send connector same. That is going to show me the transport certificate, which is my certificate. Other options are there, but I'm going to use this one, which I know is matching to my name FQDN I'm providing. Then it's ready to update it. I mean, I've already configured it. It's going to just do the update. So it's going to do the update, and it will show me the congratulations screen. Hybrid configure. Oh, and this is the congratulations. Congratulations is done. Congratulations everyone. I'm gonna go back to the slide now. All right, so remember that you would like to keep one Exchange server on premise because it can synchronize a lot of things. Microsoft recommends it, and the license is free. You don't have to worry about licenses. So the next question comes: should I install a new hybrid server? Let's think about why. We need to connect to MRS proxy on port 443 to migrate mailboxes, which means we have to connect to Exchange server, the full Exchange server. Then we need to connect to SMTP on port 587 or 25. 587 is recommended the secure port. So the answer is no. You don't have to. It's not a necessity to install a new hybrid server. There's no need. But yes, there's a but always in everything. Now the life is versatile, it's dynamic. You want to do something different, right? You're a big organization. If you are going to transfer a lot of data, which means like you have 24,000, 20,000, 10,000, 5,000 even mailboxes which you would like to migrate, you have tons of terabytes of data which you would like to migrate. Yes, separate production traffic. So just to separate the production traffic, remember, if it is going to use the same internet pipe at the time of connection, client connection, SMTP connection, that's of no use. If you have the availability of the another WAN link which is just lying down, and you would like to separate this, then plan for it properly. Use separate exchange servers. Yes, we need separate exchange servers, which may not be new servers, but you may have 12 servers, and you can segregate 4 servers for migration purposes or SMTP purposes, whichever you want. You can have edge server for the SMTP. You can have a different cache server for migrations, and you can have the normal cache servers which will receive the cache request. All right, so that's one point to be remember. Next slide is going to talk about, are you happy today? Yes. Stay on 2010. No. Need new features? Yes. Really? Which feature you need? Yes, I need new features. Which one? So there are 3 main options. Saying MultiForest, you're going to deploy MultiForest hybrid. Yes, 2010 does not support MultiForest hybrid, so you want to go for that. Then OAuth, you want to use the OAuth authentication. Then you have to go for actually upgrade to 2013 or 2016. Then you want to go for certificate-based TLS. These are 3 options. Otherwise, simple answer is no. Don't do that. Let's move on to the next slide, which is a takeaway from this session, which is I'm sure you have learned readiness tools, SSO selection, AD connector options, hybrid with 2 or more exchange orgs. All right, stay tuned for more great session. Thank you everyone for joining.